welcome back to the channel. Another product review for you here. I recently purchased the Balkn Rev 3. They have the Rev 3 and the Rev 3 Pro. Wanted to see if this would make a good entry-level wheel and something I can use as another versatile wheel to add to my collection. I don't have a vast collection. I really only have 2 wheels. I've gotten rid of some others. But now let's take a look. I went ahead and opened up the box, but I haven't taken it out yet. So you can kind of see my first impressions of what it looks like and how it feels. Got your, this is what it looks like so you guys can see. You know, sometimes I know everybody wants to know what it looks like in the box. Seems to be packaged pretty well. He's got some printed items here to kind of keep it in place. So it comes with your cord. Let's take a look at that first. Put the box to the side. I'm going to keep this short, sweet, and simple and straight to the point for you guys. So it comes with a couple of cables here, which should make my life pretty easy and simple. One, it comes with a USB extension, male or female, so really nice cable, braided, should work pretty well. To be honest, I keep my USB attached to my rig, so I won't really need that. And then what he's got, which is cool, he's got a 3D printed item that comes with it. Hopefully you can see that here, that you can go ahead and put your USB hub right in and connect it and really kind of just hold it to the rig, which is pretty nice. You know, again, I may not use that. And he's got simple adapter here for your wheel. Very simple. Looks like it'll do exactly what needs to be done. Nothing crazy, nothing expensive. Very simple and straight and to the point. And as always, you know, as long as it works and it's simple, that's all I care about. But this is what I'm just curious to see. So let's go ahead and get this opened up here. And for those of you who wonder what exactly this is or you haven't heard of it, I didn't hear of it either until I went on, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up my iPad here and just give you some highlights of what it is. So it's by Balkn, B-A-L-K-N. This is the Rev 3. He's got the Rev 3 Pro. The difference I'll point out to you shortly, but the Rev 3, it's got 10 push button switches, 2 magnetic 3D printed switches, 2 multi-directional funky switches, 2 two-way rotary switches with push buttons. What I like about it is, again, it's, from what I've read, it looks like it's sturdy. It's got a 3D printed back. So right now we're looking at the back of the wheel, which is cool. It comes with the screws, which I will use to mount my QR. I'm hoping that my QR fits on it and I don't have any issues, and I won't need an adapter plate. But here's the back of it. And again, it is 3D printed. So we will always want to test the rigidity of this. The front, and it's really light, to be honest. The front has got a full 5mm thick carbon base plate, so which is nice. I mean, which will keep it sturdy. I'm just looking at it here. I don't feel anything in it right now that would make me think, oh my goodness, this is not going to work out perfectly. This is not going to do what I want it to do. It seems really sturdy in hand. And again, I don't know anybody who's going to be bending it like this. So to me, whenever I see those tests, I always go, that's interesting. Buttons are buttons. If you look, they're not labeled or anything. Again, the Rev 3 Pro actually has labeled buttons, as well as has the aluminum backing and the metal shifters. These are 3D printed shifters. And to me, to be honest, they do exactly what I would want them to do, a shift. The grips in hand, these are 50A, if I'm not mistaken, Shore A grips, which I have to say, I like these a lot. Anything that's soft in hand, I'll be honest, is kind of where I'm going. I think that's the best thing for most of us, especially if you don't want to have to wear grips. I do not have big hands, so I have plenty of room down here. I don't hold my wheel rims with all 3 of my fingers down here. I kind of hold them like this with 2. So I do not have big hands, but I can say as of right now, I rather like it. It's gonna do exactly what I would want it to do. Let's look at the rotaries. The rotaries are kind of loose. They're not as defined as some others I've used, but again, I think it'll do exactly what you want it to do. You may want to set it where it's more of a flick to get to where you want it to go. And they are push button as well. So again, you do have those here. So we've got the funky switches, which they're also push buttons as well. So again, you got 2 of those. And you know, to be honest, I've got 5 buttons here. They feel easy under thumb. I mean, again, I don't necessarily need stickers. I do have some that I might throw on these just because I have some from other wheels I've had over the years. And again, so far, I'm liking what I see. I mean, it's $349 US, 346 US dollars, and so far, I am thoroughly impressed. I mean, again, I think when you're spending whatever money you are, whether it's $1 or $1 million, which is crazy, you want to have good quality. And I can say for $346, this is definitely hitting some of the marks of what I want to see in something I'm going to be spending my money on. So what I'm going to do is actually get the QR on here. I'm not going to make you sit and watch that. But first impressions, I really like it. The key is, how sturdy is it going to be? Are you going to notice any flex when I get this on the rig and so forth? So I will go ahead and get this mounted and we'll take a look at more. So we got it on the rig. Now we're going to take a quick look at how it feels, how it drives, and overall if it's worth your money. Again, for $346, I'll be honest, unless it's horrible, it's already making out to be the most worthwhile wheel, I would say, at this price point. So again, I'm going to take it off real quick. What I did was I attached my, I got another Moza QR here because, to be honest, just getting the wheel side QR separate, unless somebody knows I can find them cheaper, getting either a Moza or a SimMagic one just really is, you know, the best option. But again, here's the back of it. Again, very simple. 3D printed back. Very sturdy. I couldn't tell you what he printed it with or what material. I don't know much about 3D printing, but I mounted my QR to it. It attached really simple and easy. These are the 3D printed shifters, and I'll be honest, they feel fine. Like, I never would have thought anything about them. You know, I attached the USB, and you know, it's not the most expensive one, but it's also not cheap. It's just a USB cable, and that's all I really needed to work for. So far so good. Again, let's take a quick close-up look at the grips here before I get it on. And as you can see, like I said, they're Shure 50A Shure, so they're really soft, and they're just the way I like them. You guys know that I use the SRB rim on the TurnRacing 305, and I'll be honest, between that and this, I love the grips. They're soft. This has a more tacky feel to it, so you're definitely not going to slip when using these. But they're really nice. The buttons have a nice click to it. I mean, the analog work perfectly fine. And like I said, the rotaries, they are really loose. You can definitely feel the detents when you turn, but what you're going to end up doing is you might flick a little bit more. You can make out individual clicks, but it's not very loud at all. And it's not very defined. But again, at this price point, to me, they do what they're supposed to do. And I'll be honest, I did about 30 minutes of driving this around, and I really like it. It makes me want to get the Pro, but it also makes me wonder, like, do you need the Pro? I think that's a more important question. Is it worth getting the Pro at this price point? The Pro's got the aluminum backing, it's got the metal paddle shifters. It's got the buttons that actually have the writing on them, which I'm going to take and put some stickers on here soon. But this carbon front is 5mm thick, and it is firm. It's not going anywhere. The only play I've noticed is just the QR slightly being a little bit loose compared to the other one, and just tolerances when items are just made. But other than that, there's no bend or give in this, other than me moving my actual wheel plate. So I would definitely say, so far, so good. Everything works as described. Yeah, the funky switches do exactly what I want them to do. You know, I can go into my black box. I can, you know, scroll down and add more fuel, or, you know, change different things here, which is exactly what I'd want it to do. I really have no, like, so far so good. I'm pleasantly surprised. I think the price point, again, is absolutely amazing when you think of how much it costs to what you're going to get. So let's get it out on track and take a quick look at it. I think ultimately you're going to like what you see. Again, the main point of this review is for the wheel. So you're going to see the wheel on the screen. You'll see a little bit of iRacing, a little bit of myself, but it's mainly the wheel that you guys are all wanting to see. And since I'm in training, or I'm on a test track, it doesn't really matter exactly what I'm doing here. I can just speed out of the pits. But I can tell you, from using it already, like, it feels really good in hand. It's 295mm across, so it's definitely a really good size. The grips are nice and soft, so you will not need to use gloves. If you are a glove racer, trust me, you're not gonna regret using gloves on them. But they're so soft that you're not gonna really notice, and probably not gonna need them. I love racing with no gloves on, to be honest. So anytime I've got soft grips that, I don't know, just make me and give me the ability to race with no gloves on, I love it that much more. It's not as if I am out here racing in an IMSA race, or I'm in an F1 car and I need to have gloves. It's not very useful, but I do have them, because some of my wheels, I actually, in the Bavarian Simtec, I can race short races with it. But if I'm going to do a long stint, I'm going to have to wear gloves. Those are a little bit firmer, and I look at this one and it's a little bit softer. So again, I'm definitely loving the soft grips on this wheel. I think soft is always the way to go, especially for sim racers. I did have the Cube Controls Formula Pro, and I'll be honest, if the Cube Controls had this grip on it, then I probably would have never sold it. Like, I really like that wheel a lot, and to be honest, I'm getting everything I want in this wheel at a much cheaper price point than actually having that wheel. So to me, this is perfect. It has all the buttons I would need. It has, you know, like I said, it has the rotaries so that I can use, especially in this car, I can use them for my brake bias, which it does pretty fine. I can use it for the traction control, which again, when flicking through it, it's probably going to be a little loose, so you're going to have to make sure you feel. If you have gloves on, it may reduce that feeling just a little bit, because again, it's not as defined as some of the others. But again, I say that with the most respect, because it's like, this wheel is $346, and when you start looking at some of the wheels that are out there that you can get third party, yeah, for $346, I don't need, you know, backlit buttons. You know, I don't need, you know, this isn't a plastic wheel. It is a carbon fiber front, 5mm thick carbon plate, and then it's got the 3D printed back. And again, it's as firm and sturdy as any wheel I've ever used. I don't notice any flex anywhere. The buttons are easy to click. They're right where I need them to be. I can flash my lights if I need to. Like I said, it's actually made out to be a great wheel, and for the price, I just really can't stress enough that, you know, when you pay the money you pay for wheels, whether it's $1 or $2,000 or $3,000, depending on where you go, you want to get value for your dollar. That's really what it all matters about. So to me, this is the one of the most valuable wheels when you consider how much you pay for it that you're going to find out there. And again, that's with me having my TurnRacing 305 wheel rim and button plate, the SRB wheel rim. They were kind of in the same price point, but this is just one complete set. You're not having to buy multiple pieces. Literally, you're buying a wheel that's put together, and all you have to do at the end of the day is simply just add your QR and go. Because the screws are included, it makes screwing on the QR quite easy. But yeah, like, I am really enjoying this, and I would tell everybody, like, if you have the ability, go out and get one. You know, it's definitely worth the cost. And like I said, the Rev Pro 3, I want to try it just to see if there's a major difference. But again, it's just because the back is aluminum. The shifters are metal as opposed to 3D printed plastic. So to me, I'm not noticing anything. I'm not noticing a lack of input. I'm not noticing any flex in the wheel as I drive. So it's definitely something I'd say should be on your short list of wheels to get. And I say this as a person who paid for it with his own money. Like, nobody sent this to me. I ordered it. I got in contact with the guy, you know, who is putting these together. And they're using custom PCB boards. So, I mean, just great overall. So what I'm going to do is pull this to the side, and let's have a quick summary of what I'm seeing and why I think this is totally worth it for you to spend your money on. In conclusion, man, I really believe that looking at this wheel, how much it costs, how effective it is, how it feels in hand. Like I said, if you don't like a tacky, I mean, again, it's definitely going to absorb some of the skin cells off my hand, as I think Will would say. Some of you may like the smooth feel. And don't get me wrong, my SRB wheel, the grips are smoother than these are. And this is definitely going to, you know, show any wear and tear on it. But I think for the price point, I love it. I'd recommend it to anybody. And again, the buttons do feel great. The funky switches, they feel basic. But again, I think for the cost, you have to consider that. I think the rotaries could show more, you know, be a little bit more defined, but they do what they're supposed to do. I don't have any, you know, they're very loose. Like I said, you can feel each defined move. And if you're driving, you can. But if you're really focused on the race, you might move it a couple. So again, that's something that you'll have to kind of live with, because they're not as defined, or not as the details aren't as detailed and as stiff as some of the others. But I will gladly take that sacrifice. I'll be honest, I'm not changing the brake bias or the traction control mid-race, and maybe that's why I'm not as fast as some of the fastest guys out there. But I need to make sure I have the buttons where I need them to, and all of these are right within thumb's reach. And the ones I mainly use are up here, you know, whether it's my pit control, whether you know, I'm going to say thanks or sorry, I do map those, whether I'm going to flash my lights in this car. You know, there's basic things that I'm going to use, whether I'm pitting in and pitting out. Those are things I'm going to use, but I've got more than enough buttons to do everything I need to do. And again, keep in mind, these are rotaries and they're push buttons, as well as the funky switches. They're push buttons as well as funky switches as well. So again, they will do everything you need to do. They're, you know, 4-way, up, down, left, right. They also are rotary and push buttons. So again, quite a few functions out of the two funky switches, and again, it does everything I want. So there's nothing more I can add to this except to tell you to go ahead and check out Balkn.shop. I don't get any kickback for this. I don't get any money. I don't get any referral credit. I don't get a free wheel. I paid the $346 myself and had it shipped to me. He was pretty quick about getting it shipped. I ordered it on a Monday. He shipped it out. See, I ordered on a Monday, or actually Sunday night. So thinking, oh well, if I order it Sunday night, but nobody's working Sunday night, and he's doing this with him and another person to make the boards. So I ordered it Sunday night. It was shipped that Thursday. It was actually in Cincinnati that Friday morning, but they held it to deliver it on a Monday. It was being delivered DHL. Typically, if it's in town early, they'll go ahead and ship it and deliver it that next day if they get it here. And again, it was here Friday morning in Cincinnati, and then they put it on hold, so it couldn't be shipped that Friday to me. It had to be delivered on Monday, but it was well worth the wait. I tell you again, check it out. When you think about how much you're going to spend to what type of performance you're going to get out of this wheel, definitely spend the money, give it a check out, and maybe you want the Rev 3 Pro. I'll just say to you, if you want those extra additions, totally awesome. Again, the buttons are labeled, you're getting that aluminum back and the metal shifters. So yeah, but for me, I don't need any of that. I just need to be able to get on track, but I am wanting and thinking, man, that Rev Pro 3 does look nice too as well. So as always, hope you enjoy the channel. Hope you enjoy the review. I hope that this brings some value to you. If it does, go ahead and give me the thumbs up. Go ahead and turn the notifications on, but more importantly, subscribe. Come along for the journey. Check us out on, any socials. And as always, I hope to see you on the track. Check out my other videos, and I'll talk to you later. Peace.